Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at 203 South Washington Street in Saginaw, Michigan, inside of the SVRC Marketplace. If you're looking for delicious sweets, this is the place to stop in. They specialize in homemade desserts and one-of-a-kind custom cakes. They can be reached at 248-836-8080 or dsibakeshop.com.
Happy Saturday morning. Happy Saturday morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. It's Saturday. We up. We doing what we love to do.
And what is that?
First of all, give God glory.
Amen.
And the second thing is to come bring news that our viewers and listeners can use. So I'm excited about being in the driver's seat today.
I'm excited this weekend because it is Mother's Day.
It is.
And shout out to all the mothers and shout out to all the aunties or TTs or grandmothers that stand in the place of a mother.
Yeah.
Or a grandmother that is actually a mother and a father together. Or auntie, that's a mother.
Yeah. And shout out to all those whose mothers have gone on to glory and
Or to hell. One or other.
Well. So shout out to all the mothers. If you are listening, you had a mother. There's no one who was born into this world that did not have a mother. So this morning, we are honoring mothers. And first, I want to honor my mother, Linda K. Burrow. She's gone on to be with the Lord. So I can for surely say that, Regina, this morning, that she is gone on to be with the Lord. So I want to honor her this morning. But in her absence, when she was out and wasn't able to be a mother at that time, I want to honor Flora White, who helped raise me. So I'm excited this morning to have those two women along with Fanny Beatrice Burrow, who played a role in my life.
What's one of the things that you can take with yourself that you have today that you learned from your two mothers?
All three. My grandmother. Fanny was my grandmother. So one of the things that I learned, first of all, with my mother, that she gave me what she could out of the capacity that she could give me. And we got close in the latter years when I got grown. But with Flora is the one who showed me how to cook. So for those that watch me and see me in the kitchen burning and cooking, and it makes me feel close to her. She was the one who showed me how to pick beans and greens and clean chitlins and, cook food, So I pay homage to her this morning. So what can I take away? Just being self-sufficient, learning how to take care of yourself, learning how to take care of your family. This woman would get up at 5:30 every single morning, and she would clean her room, bathe, and feed her husband. And while she cooking breakfast for him, she was also preparing lunch. And then while she was preparing lunch, she was washing clothes. So she's the person who instilled in me to take care of your family.
Well, you know what? I can see all that in you because I know many a times we talk, you're juggling four or five different things. Not just one, but 4 or 5 different things. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how are you able to manage? But able to manage that, you have to be organized.
Yeah, somewhat semi-organized.
You gotta be. You gotta be, because I gotta have that one task right here. We're gonna put those 3 or 4 tasks right there. I can go from here to here to here, but I gotta go focus on that one for a minute. Okay. I can't do all 4 at one time.
Yeah, I thank God for being able to juggle and to be able to multitask, because I couldn't do it by myself.
Well, it takes a village, right?
It takes a village to raise, but it takes God to help. So when you talk about doing certain things, like I couldn't do all of the things that I do on my own.
Well, let's praise the mothers this weekend. So you know what? I did my little homework here. As I
What you do?
always
What you do? What you do?
I just had to look it up and find out exactly. Mother's Day originated in. Do you know what year Mother's Day originated?
I don't, but I know that it was considered a man-made holiday. So go ahead and tell us about it.
Does anybody know that? So it was in the It was in 1908.
Yeah, so
It
it
was
in the 19th
originated.
century.
Yeah, it was originated in the United States, established by Anna Jarvis. The official Mother's Day celebration took place on May 10th, 1908, with a service worship at St. Andrew's Methodist Church in West Virginia. And she started actually when she honored her late mother, and it became recognized nationally. But yes, a man-made, as you said, a man-made holiday.
Yeah, and today is May the 10th. Isn't that amazing how when you looked up the history of it, that it actually occurred on May 10th in 1908.
But actually, it's tomorrow. So what? And today is the
Today is
10th,
the
right?
10th. Yeah.
So how does it? Is it automatically on a Sunday, or
So-
I wonder how that works.
Mother's Day has always kind of been on a Sunday, and it's usually
But they
the
man-made
second-
it on a Sunday.
Yeah, well, it was a man-made holiday.
Right.
So yeah, so it's usually the second Sunday, but it juggles around. The dates juggle around, but it's usually the second Sunday.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Hmm.
So it was campaigned and recognized nationally in 1914 when President Woodrow Wilson signed he made a second Sunday in May official Mother's Day in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
I got my
And so
glasses on,
shout
so I
out
can't
to
see.
Woodrow, the late Woodrow Wilson.
Yes.
That was something honorable,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure it was because they wanted to recognize their mothers, and that was a great way to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing about our culture that I love, most of us recognize our mothers often. Especially even the mothers who may not be as close with their children. The Mother's Day is something that's nationally recognized. So even if you're not really close with your children or the mother is not, a lot, people recognize Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's good. So who you shouting out this morning, Regina?
Well, my mother, Gwendolyn Woodard.
Come on,
One thing I can say about my mother is my mother could cook, right?
she can cook.
But I ran away from the kitchen.
Yeah,
I ran.
You telling me that.
I ran away from the kitchen. I was trying to get that basketball. I was trying to skateboard. I was trying to do those other things.
But I bet you one thing, you took away the makeup from her.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you. I was going to go right into there. So I ran away from the kitchen. I was playing basketball, doing those other things. But my mother, actually, she would not leave the house without her makeup done. And if she didn't have her lashes, she put the lashes where you put the glue on the one day lashes. My mother did that. But I didn't inherit that or get that until after my mom passed in 2016. I don't know whether
Wait, your mom was putting lashes on?
my mom
She
put
did
her
it weird.
own. She would go get the individuals.
Yeah.
But if she didn't have the individual on, she put her own glue on her lashes and put her lashes on.
All right.
But she never left the house, even when she got sick.
Mm-hmm.
Her last couple years of being ill.
Mm-hmm.
And well, let me say her last year, and she did not leave the house. She maybe went from the bedroom to the kitchen. She went to her doctor's appointments, whatever. She was like, "Oh, I got to put my makeup on." And to the last day, to about a couple weeks before her passing, she was still putting her makeup on.
That's beautiful. That's a wonderful
Putting
memory.
her makeup on. But me, I was like, "Mom, you don't need to do it. You just going in the living room. No, I got to put my lips on. I got to put makeup." So, "Mom, ain't nobody coming to see you."
You was coming to see her.
She didn't care. So now I can't leave the house. Maybe I have left the house maybe twice last year, or maybe 3 times without no makeup.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, I ain't never seen. Well, maybe twice. I think I have only saw you 2 times without makeup.
No, I don't. You won't see me without my makeup.
Wow. So you know what, Regina? I know you have some friends you may want to shout out, and I know I got some friends I want to shout out too. Because when you think about Mother's Day, you think about all of the people that's around you, and you watch them raise their children. And it was funny because even this morning, LaKayla Tatamy Smith crossed my mind because I saw her son Caleb is graduating, and I remember watching her raise even Dorian, her daughter, who is now a nurse, and Caleb is going away to college. And I remember these babies as babies, and she just crossed my mind. So I want to shout out LaKayla Tatamy Smith this morning, and just all of the women that I see out here doing it, just out here, making paving ways for their children. Children are going off to college. Children are picking up trades. They just really doing it.
So you know what? I want to shout out. Growing up, I had two people that I called my other mother, right? One person. As I got older in my adult life, when I was in my 30s, I adopted all these other mothers, right? But it was Mary Gray Robertson. That was like my other mother and she passed about January, not this year, but last year. So she's been gone since January 2024. And it's my best friend's mom, and she was the first person I called mom. I grew up on the hill on Hillsmont. She was on Earl Moore, and she was there with my dad died in 2008. She actually went to the funeral home with me, met me at the funeral home, met me there, flew to Florida, had a little service here for my dad, flew to Florida, and sung at my dad's funeral, right? Then when my stepmom passed away, she was there for me, and then my mom.
Wow.
So, you shout out to her, even though she's not here. But just the individuals that have been always in your life that loved you, right? And it was in the trenches with you, and you didn't even know you needed them in the trenches, right?
Yeah.
But no, shout out to my friends, a couple of my friends that actually are mothers, right? And that actually kids just graduated.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nicole Anderson.
Yeah.
Christian is in his
You're going into
senior year.
Yeah.
He's attending Tennessee State University.
Yeah.
So shout out to her, and shout out to Cam, her youngest son, who's actually graduating 8th grade.
Yeah, going to the ninth.
Going to the ninth next year.
I remember that baby was born. Man, both of them.
You remember that?
I remember when both of them was born.
No, you remember Christian, because Christian, they were living on.
I remember when both of those babies were born. Wow. I remember the day she had Cam, though. Yeah, so shout out. Let's see. I got a few people I want to shout out this morning, but just I don't want to start naming names, because if I forget anybody,
you're gonna get in trouble.
Then people going to be looking at me upside my head. But I do want to shout out my sisters this morning, Beverly Jones-Leitner and Stephanie Young. They have my nieces and nephews, and my sister-in-law, Patrina Burrow. Shout out to you all. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Auntie Annette Dempsey coming through out of Florida. Happy Mother's Day to you.
You know what? I want to shout out to more people. So shout out to Lisa Lyles, my best friend, who actually, that's how I became an auntie, a TT. But it wasn't TT 30 years ago. It was auntie or Aunt Gina. And I demanded to be called auntie because I don't have any kids. It wasn't Regina. It was Auntie Regina. And to this day, I still demand that.
Do you?
But yeah. Okay. But Sierra called me auntie, right? She called me TT.
I don't know what she does.
No, I have a little hate in your voice there.
No, I ain't got no hate. Ain't no rival. Ain't no rival.
But she says TT. But shout out to my best friend Lisa, because I actually became an auntie for George, her first son, George Payne, her only son, and then Camille.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, shout out. So to all my friends and family members that are mothers that are watching, I salute you today. Job well done. Keep doing what you're doing. Yes. You're doing an amazing job.
And I got to shout out my auntie who's on here and actually just called me, and then she must have forgot, because we have that Auntie Annette Dempsey. I call her Mother Auntie Annette Dempsey now, because she's been my rock ever since my dad passed, and she actually been in the trenches with me.
Come on, Trench.
Actually, when I had my first, became an author because of you, because you hooked me in that, put me in that category.
It ain't because of me.
No, well, it's because of God, but it's because of the relationships that we have, right? And actually, I had a chapter in the book. What was the name of the book?
Overcoming the Enemy's Plan.
How did you actually remember that off the top of your head?
Because I'm an author ×9, and I remember all my books.
Did she say, wait a minute, did she say ×9?
Yes.
Well, you know what? But so, I'm going to change subjects like I do real fast. But anyway, shout out to you for being the person you are, because you actually are I'm the big sister, but you the little big sister / mama because you've been in the trenches for me for the last 19 days. So shout out to you.
19 days.
Well, it was 17 Thursday, but now it's 19.
Listen.
So you've been in the trenches with me.
I appreciate that. Thanks for shouting me out. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. So I know we got to take a break, and when we come back, I'm excited. Who's coming back with us, Regina?
We're coming back with Auntie.
Come on, Auntie.
Auntie Jennifer Dooley, retired school teacher, newly elected board member.
Whoop, whoop, Pontiac.
Pontiac is in the house.
Yes.
But me and Auntie Jennifer Dooley go back 35 years.
Listen, I got
35,
you
40
beat.
years.
She know me when I was, born.
Okay.
Don't hate.
We'll be right back.
Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at 203 South Washington Street in Saginaw, Michigan, inside of the SVRC Marketplace. If you're looking for delicious sweets, this is the place to stop in. They specialize in homemade desserts and one-of-a-kind custom cakes. They can be reached at 248-836-8080 or dsibakeshop.com.
Hey, Metro Detroit, it's me, Tune Up Man, along with Joe Longhammer and Regina, the queen of car loans at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
If I'm looking for a new car and I have $500, Regina, what can you do for me?
I'll take your $500 and turn it into $1,000.
But there's a catch, right?
That's right. I can only handle 25 of these deals each month.
Hurry before those 25 deals are gone.
Call or text 248-266-9875. I'll get you approved.
Well, we're back in the studio with one of my favorite aunties, right? Jennifer Dooley, retired educator, newly elected board member, is in the house this morning, on the pod this morning.
Good morning.
Auntie Jen.
Good morning to everyone. It's such a blessing to be here. I'm honored and humbled that you guys would even think enough to invite me to this space. So I say good morning to each and every one of you and those of you that are listening to us. Happy Mother's Day.
Yay, happy Mother's Day. I love it. So I'm ready to dive right in. I've been waiting for you to come into the pod. So I know there are some people that you want to shout out real quick before we start getting into the meat of it.
Okay, so this morning I want to first certainly give honor to God, who's the head of my life, to my first lady over at New Mount Moriah. It's Mother's Day. I want to say happy Mother's Day to Elder Donna Murphy. To my family members, I'm not going to call you all because if I miss somebody, you're going to be mad. But happy Mother's Day. And it was 7,617 people that voted for me. And I want to give a special recognition to Region 1, UAW, in particular, LaShawn English, who is the director of Region 1. I want to say thank you for the support that UAW extended, and again, to all of those persons that did vote to elect me in.
Yeah, that's good. And we're so glad that you are in. So let's get into it.
All right.
So tell the listeners and the viewers, who is Jennifer Dooley?
Jennifer Dooley is a homegrown product of Pontiac.
Homegrown. Me too.
Grew up in Lakeside Homes,
Me
where I
too.
know your mom. We grew up in the projects, no longer stand there, and I'm proud of that.
Me too.
Good things come out of Pontiac.
Yes, they do.
And I went to, graduated 1979, went to Oakland University, and then I worked for the school district. And I retired in 2021.
But what did you get your degree in?
I have a bachelor's in political science. I have a master's of education, curriculum instruction, and leadership. And then I have a master's in the art of teaching, administration, and supervision.
So double major.
Yeah, dual
I call it
master.
double
Well,
major.
I have it from
dual
two
major.
different universities.
Yeah.
So Oakland University, and then I went and got the other one from University of Phoenix. And then I do have credits toward my doctoral program, But I decided once I retired, it was no need to complete that.
Yeah, that was really a personal journey. When you get to the doctorate piece, it's really personal. So that's good. Come on, double masters.
Yeah, I did complete that.
That's
Shout out-
amazing.
Shout out to Oakland University because I graduated from there. Yes, shout out.
Oakland
alumni.
University, yes.
Listen.
Turning out quality people.
Turning out. Yes.
In fact, I'm gonna give a shout out to OU. On the other day, I attended an event for the CNA. They have a program for the young people at Pontiac in conjunction with Oakland University. So I attended that award ceremony, and those students will be able to go into the field ahead of the game starting.
Yeah,
Probably
that's
like at $25 an hour. That's pretty good for a high school student.
That's real
yes,
good.
and coming right out and getting those skills right away.
Absolutely.
I love the partnerships that are taking place now to give these students the skills so when they come out, they're prepared to go into the workforce.
And while we're there, don't sleep on Pontiac, those partnerships. Pontiac Promise Zone, $50,000 to any student graduating from Pontiac, and you have up to 5 years to utilize those funds.
Is it certain schools or what?
All schools, they said, as long as the only requirement is to certainly have the GPA and be a graduate of Pontiac High or the school district. So make sure parents, I think you need to assume the position of being a parent and tell the kids what they are doing, because that's why we're parents, because we have the foresight. So I would encourage anyone to take advantage of that Promise Zone. Shout out to Coco Mulder for facilitating that, and get in contact. Don't let that money get past you.
So is it, do you know the GPA that this high school student needs to have?
I'm going to say it's not under a 2.5, but that's very low.
No, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very low to be able to apply.
So $50,000 awarded they automatically qualify, Pontiac resident.
And you have up to 5 years to utilize that.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that is.
And can that go towards trades or does it have to go towards the university?
I want to say it can go through anything that's accreditable.
Wow, this is
Accredited,
amazing.
excuse me.
And I love how you came out the bat swinging, because you are truly an educator and you are educating us even now. So for all those that are listening, if you have a high school student, if you have someone that you know that can utilize these funds, please do so. This is the Promise Zone. And so again, shout out to Coco Mulder. And so I'm excited. So let's get right in, Ms. Dooley. I know you were telling us who you are, but and where you came from, and I love it because I'm a product of Lakeside Homes too, and I stand firm, and I will stand on this to the day I leave here. Good things come out of Pontiac.
Absolutely.
Good things come out of Pontiac, even though there may be some bad things that we see, but good people and good things come out of Pontiac.
Amen.
So, Ms. Dooley, so you were telling us a little bit about your background. What prompted you to want to be a part of the Pontiac School Board?
Well, for so many years as an educator, we were not allowed to be a part of the school board.
Really? Okay.
You cannot be a teacher or employed by the school district and be on the board.
Okay.
So after retiring, a few years elapsed, I was approached, people asking me, get back involved. And then I'm going to be perfectly honest, I had a visitation from the Lord.
Amen.
So I'm on assignment.
Amen.
I really am on assignment to, the Bible talks about the mountains of education or mountains of influence. And mountains of education is where I'm there. And God is going to reposition people to get his will done, kingdom business. So I'm there to represent not only my 7,617 voters, but everybody that's an educational stakeholder.
That's good. I appreciate that.
So now that you are a newly elected board member, what are one of your goals that you put in place before your during your campaign that you want to work? What's one of your first orders of business right now?
To establish the relationship between the board and the superintendent, where we can have strong collaborations, mutual trust, accountability, and to align one of my biggest things is to get there and align our resources, a budget. If you use this analogy, if you were giving your family business, you wouldn't just take what someone said.
Yeah.
You would want to review the documents, the financial status, and then to see where you can move to project. So that's where I'm at, wanting to get a handle on the budget. I've yet to be able to see all of that, to make good, sound financial decisions for the district. I would like us to relook at our administration. I think we're top heavy in regards to spending, because you can't afford to be top heavy and then we're going to face layoffs.
So we're spending so much money
Yeah.
at the top, but other people are getting laid off, like the teachers. And,
Exactly.
got it. Or people that just work for the district, employees.
Employees, yes. I don't want to say teachers, but employees are. So those are some things. I want community leadership involved. We need to invest. If you have everyone at the table, then I believe we'll get some things done.
Yeah.
Because we're all homeowners and we don't want our property to go down. So we have to have a viable district. In order to have a viable district, we have to have viable programs, and we have to, there's a direct correlation between the delivery of instruction and learning.
That's true.
So we have to overhaul those teachers. I'm a little displeased in where we find ourselves because we're scoring low. Our students are scoring low. But if we realign the delivery of instruction and provide a better foundation, I believe we can get back, because we all went to Pontiac schools.
Amen. We did.
Pontiac schools thrived then.
Yeah.
We were not underperforming. So let's get back to that. Let's stop. I think we make too many decisions rash. We don't do enough of investigation, enough of research to see how it would affect the total child. We do moves more for dollars, and that's not a good thing for me.
So we do. So in other words, you're saying they make moves just to get the money, right?
Or spend it.
Or spend it.
Yes, it's more, to me, the whole child is not there, because you have to do research. Let's give an example of what's going on in the district. It's proposed for several projects. Well, one in particular, they want to combine other schools, move the Frost program, Peace Academy over. Well, you can't say you're going to maintain the same conditions because it's going to be interrupted. Same if I'm coming to your home, it's not going to be the same when you have new people there.
And you can have more students.
More students.
Yeah.
And you got to look at space. Learning needs space.
Yeah.
All kids, you have
Different levels of learning.
absolutely, and we need space to move around. So a lot of things are not considered. And then when you have too many projects going on at the same time, things get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Then also, I also read, and I heard this, that, we do the money, we do the research, we get the monies, right? But we don't spend the money in accurate time, the time we're supposed to spend it. We take too long to make decisions. We let money sit over here, and then money gets taken away.
And I would say, to some extent, that probably is true. But again, I have not seen a full budget to be able to
But that's because
qualify
you're
that.
the newly elected, so you just began with being able to dive in.
Yes.
Okay. So you know what? I have a question. Let me jump in right
Go ahead.
quick. So I have a question. Since you've seen from both lenses, as an educator and now sitting on the board, right? And so I hear you say that you want collaboration, but what would be the first thing to make that happen? Is that like a sit down? Like what is it to have collaboration with everyone? Because even though the board is in place, everyone may not be on the same page.
I think it would start with having true conversations. For me, I need to figure out how to hold some town meetings. Maybe you guys can help me. We develop that, because it's not enough just to get the input if we're not going to execute
Yes.
some of the
Yes.
things that.
And that's what we're hearing, and just even seeing firsthand. There's a lot of input, there's a lot of suggestions, but there's no execution.
Accountability has to come into play.
Yes.
People have to stop making independent choices and then presenting them as if it was collectively decided.
Yeah.
Then that's when people have to speak up, though.
Absolutely.
Because people make decisions, and when they don't say anything, they assume that you're with them, right?
Yeah, because
So you have to speak up and-
silence speaks as well. Yeah. Wow. So that's good. So Jennifer, tell the listeners, okay, give them something. Like, I know that they're not going to contact you per se, but give the listeners something that you are definitely going to make sure happens under your watch, while you're sitting.
My goal is to definitely bring accountability back,
Okay.
trust. I would like people to know when the board speaks, we will deliver. I don't want it just to be empty rhetoric going back and forth to please the ear.
Yeah.
And then I want us to be able to have those courageous conversations where we can call out the elephant in the room. It's no need to sugarcoat that our students are learning and they're not. People wonder, one of the questions, how do you get a 12th grader to 12th grade to graduate, a student that's been in the district, but yet they can't read?
That's
Well,
good.
if we stop playing with the data and we tell the true data from where a kid starts at their grade level and not, let me give you an example. If you're in the 6th grade and they say, oh, you're going to make 70% of your projected goals, that's good. But they didn't tell you you're in the 6th grade, but on a 2nd grade level. So you did make 70% of that 2nd grade level, but yet you're moving to the 7th and you're still at 2nd grade. So I want that transparency to come to life. I want us to educate parents how to follow their students, how to follow those grades, because some kids operate in the red their entire school life because they're not having a clear picture of the data.
So who do we blame that on?
I'm not going to place blame on anyone.
Oh, that's a great answer.
I'm not going to place blame on
I
anyone.
love Great
I think
answer.
it's round robin though. Like
Yeah,
everybody
that's a
plays
great
a
answer.
part.
Culpability rests on all parties.
Yeah, that's right.
Mother, father,
Just
parent,
everybody.
whoever.
Everybody.
Schools, teacher, everybody. Everybody plays a part in that in the
Yeah.
child's life.
Man, that was really good.
Yes.
Miss Dooley. Wow. So I appreciate the information you share. Is there something else you would like to share with our listeners?
No, I just want you to come out, be a part, be active, have your voices heard, get a stake in the game. We can do this. We can turn our district around. If you know people, we have several jobs that are available. We need those jobs filled. Please make application. We need to have people come and sit. We need to interview for a superintendent. We have a lot of interim positions. HR position is an interim. We just need you to come and get involved and make this happen.
Wow. When do the meetings take place?
We meet normally Mondays at 6 p.m. at the district. It is posted as we comply to the Opens Meeting Act. So those meetings are posted.
And then you guys are getting a lot of views. Just the last couple months. A lot of people
yes.
actually are tuning in to the school board meeting on Monday.
I am glad to hear
Mondays.
that.
Yes, they are. And then also, Santi, would you put in, Gilgir put in the Pontiac Promise Zone application for high school graduates that will qualify for the $50,000 up to 5 years.
Good morning, Gil. Accountability is key. So good to have you on with us. So again, wow, this was great information, Ms. Dooley. Thank you for sharing with us, and especially this Pontiac Promise Zone. We want to get this word out so
Yes.
these kids can get this money.
In fact, they have an aviation program. They have a firefighters program where,
Wow.
and it only graduated one kid.
Wow.
But that kid can start as a fireman
Yes.
when they graduate. They can intern. Again, these kids are starting at $20, $25 an hour,
Wow.
even prior to going to college because of the training that they'll have. So don't sleep on Pontiac.
Don't sleep.
We are back. We are the Phoenix. We shall rise again in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Right.
Amen. Thank you for joining us, Auntie.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
joining us. We'll be right back after this break with Sierra Crudup from Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies.
All right.
Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at 203 South Washington Street in Saginaw, Michigan, inside of the SVRC Marketplace. If you're looking for delicious sweets, this is the place to stop in. They specialize in homemade desserts and one-of-a-kind custom cakes. They can be reached at 248-836-8080 or dsibakeshop.com.
Hey, Metro Detroit, it's me, Tune Up Man, along with Joe Longhammer and Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
If I'm looking for a new car and I have $500, Regina, what can you do for me?
I'll take your $500 and turn it into $1,000.
But there's a catch, right?
That's right. I can only handle 25 of these deals each month.
Hurry before those 25 deals are gone.
Call or text 248-266-9875. I'll get you approved.
Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at 203 South Washington Street in Saginaw, Michigan, inside of the SVRC Marketplace. If you're looking for delicious sweets, this is the place to stop in. They specialize in homemade desserts and one-of-a-kind custom cakes. They can be reached at 248-836-8080.
Hey, Metro Detroit, it's me, Tune Up Man, along with Joe Longhammer and Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
If I'm looking for a new car and I have $500, Regina, what can you do for me?
I'll take your $500 and turn it into $1,000.
But there's a catch, right?
That's right. I can only handle 25 of these deals each month.
Hurry before those 25 deals are gone.
Call or text 248-266-9875. I'll get you approved.
Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at 203 South Washington Street in Saginaw, Michigan, inside of the SVRC Marketplace. If you're looking for delicious sweets, this is the place to stop in. They specialize in homemade desserts and one-of-a-kind custom cakes. They can be reached at 248-836-8080 or dsibakeshop.com. And we are back with Sierra Crudup from Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies. Good morning, Sierra.
Good morning. Happy Saturday.
Good morning,
morning,
happy
sunshine.
Saturday. So listen, I know you want to do a little shout out because you know tomorrow month. No.
Oh, Lord.
We was talking about honoring mothers.
Give your mama a shout out. She ain't already.
Mother's Day is every day. Every day she wakes up, she is a mother, and she is phenomenal, and I appreciate her every day. But
Yes.
because Mother's Day is tomorrow, shout out to my mother.
Hey, girl.
Shout out to my TT Gina. Shout out to all of the aunties and those people who have played mother role figures in my life.
Yay, good job. All
Where are
right.
you right now? You in the bakery or you in the where are you?
She in the bakery.
I'm
You got a different background.
So I'm actually at the bakery, but I'm upstairs in my office, and I'm sitting at one of the tables.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So the marketplace is jumping right now. It should be. All of the people are coming in, getting prepared for customers, right?
Hopefully, all I know is that I'm here. So
That's right. Well, good morning. So let's get right into it. So, your topic, navigating the new normal with new age employees. I want to start with that. Let's get right into it because you definitely sent me something yesterday that I laughed about. And I know the world doesn't know about it, but there is definitely a new trend of workers that have emerged
Oh, they know about it.
that have emerged. So let's kind of talk about navigating the new normal with these new age employees.
employees have that's always been I would say a struggle, I guess, in any business, especially after COVID. And since I was 17 years old, I've been in management positions. After high school, I supervised many people, and then eventually I became full time with Delicious Sweets. So I continued to hire and fire people, train, coach, and all of those things. And I think now I'm experiencing the hardest hurdles and struggles with employees. More specifically, the age group between 18 and 25. It's just not the same. It's not the same from when I was growing up. The standards are different. What they think is normal is different. Even what you will allow in the workplace is different. And I'm finding myself having to coach on things that I wouldn't even think we would need to talk about, as far as being on your phone while at work, making videos while you're at work, using profanity while you're at work, coming in on time.
Not smiling, not being nice.
Yes, not smiling, not being nice, not caring that a customer is waiting and watching you and continuing to do what you were doing prior to. It's just it's a new learning curve for me, and I've really been doing research on how to successfully work with this age group, because the reality is those are the people that's applying for the jobs.
Yes. Yeah. So, see here, help me with this. So, I know that social media has played a huge role with the way workers are, even the way they show up, because social media has glamorized independence on a job, and they have glamorized being on your phone and taking videos and doing all of those things even while you're at work. So what is some of the tools that you've learned to use when even interviewing new age employees?
What I'm doing more so now is asking those questions that allow them to respond in a way to give me answers, and utilize their critical thinking skills.
So what's one of
So,
those questions? I mean to cut you off because you're going fast. What's one of those questions that you ask the age group between 18 and 25 that's going to let you know?
well, I asked them, first of all, one of the questions I ask is, if I called your last employer, what would they tell me about you? And I'll give an example. I asked this question to a young lady, and she told me, she was like, well, they would say that I really didn't show up. But when I did show up, I did a good job, but I didn't really like the job. So I didn't go all the time. Now, I would never say that to anyone.
Sorry.
Bad.
I don't even know if I could have responded like that to anybody. Like,
Yes.
that's for sure you're not getting this job.
The interview is over.
Walk out.
At this point,
Like,
the next couple of
bye.
questions are just going to be fluff because you're not working here. Um,
Listen.
yeah, so that's one of the questions, and then I also asked potential employees how would they deal with a conflict between a customer if they were angry, and them walking me through the process lets me know how they think, and then it allows me to know if I want to move further with this potential employee.
Yeah. So what if, they had all these great answers, but they were all just, again, to get the job? Because I've seen this happen so many times, being a person who has interviewed hundreds of people, right? So I've literally saw people or heard people respond just to get the job. So what do you do with this great candidate that you hire, and once they show up for work, you realize that they are literally
The wrong one, the wrong
menace to
employee.
menace. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you know what? There are some people who are professionals at interviews, and honestly, I don't want to say this. Those people could be quite impressive because you have those people, but then you also have people who come into the interview and they just don't care and they say anything. But to answer your question, what I do with an employee like that, I put all of my employees on a 90-day probational period. So during that 90 days, you can't have any call-ins. You can't be late excessive amount of times. You can't break any of the rules in the handbook. Of course, emergencies doesn't count, but they kind of have a guideline to go off of. And usually within the first month, excuse me, they show you how they're going to be. So that 90-day probationary period has been helpful for me. But I always say, you never know until you get them in the door. And I'm finding out more so now. Um, I have to I have to constantly be interviewing people and ready to hire the next person because I used to keep people that I knew wasn't good for my business just because I wanted to help them or I felt bad for them or I needed someone. But at this point, I will work the shift before I pay you to not do your job while you're working and I'm paying.
So, I want to talk about a situation that actually happened to me this week at Applebee's. I'm gonna say the name of it. It was in Southfield, and I used to visit this Applebee's at least 2 or 3 times a week. Okay, before COVID, a little bit after COVID, but the last couple years last 3 years they have gone down. So I decided to visit this Applebee's this past, I think it was Wednesday, and I went in and the counter area at the bar was it had people, but it was at the end of the bar. There was like stuff on the counter, and I waited a few minutes. I stood there to see if the bartender was going to clean it off. She walked around, walked back and forth a couple times, didn't clean it off. So I sat down, and then eventually she came over and cleaned it off. But she did not acknowledge me. She did not say, "You want a menu? Would you like a drink? Would you like a beverage?" She didn't do any of that. She walked around like she was mad. She probably was like at least 21, 22 years old, right? Then she helped everybody else. And I said, "Excuse me, can you give me a menu? Can you help me?" And she acted like it was an attitude to help me, right? So I recognized one of the managers, right? And I said, "Hey, how you doing? I'm here to see you." Well, that attitude straightened up, because I acknowledged the manager.
Yeah.
So her service got a little better, but at the end, you know what I did? Instead of not giving her, like making her tip like small, I gave her a bigger tip.
Yeah.
And when I gave her a bigger tip, I gave her a bigger tip, like I would give the bartender that was one of my favorite bartenders when I always ate dinner there. And I waited. I gave her my monies. Then I added a little bit more to it, and I waited there, on my phone. And she said, "Oh, thank you." So I guarantee the next time I go in there, she's going to be a lot nicer to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that you were going to be talking about this today, but I had to learn. God gave that to me to be a little bit nicer, to be a little patient, to feed her with some money, to give her something. So next time I come in, she'll show me more love and be appreciative.
Yeah, but you know what, Sierra and Regina, to go back to this, what you're talking about, I've learned that since COVID, a lot of employers, they do allow bad service from their employees because they're in a need.
Because they need that, because they need employees. That's
I've
why.
literally
Yes.
heard
Yes.
employers
Yep.
say,
Yep.
"Hey, just be kind to our employees." I remember seeing things on the doors say, "Be kind to our employees." So Sierra, you're saying like, listen, I would rather get in the trenches and work my own business before I allow an employee to disrespect the customer or cause a loss of business. So that's kind of contrary to the things that we're seeing in these different restaurants and establishments. So you taking that position, you have said, listen, you have put stake in your job. So you're saying, listen, I don't care if I have to work. So what would you tell the employers that are watching now who are going through situations with new age employees or just employees period who are not coming up to the standard of the business?
I would tell that employer to raise the standard and keep the standard, because there's a lot of businesses that I follow and I research closely, including Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, and Culver's. And when you go to those places, I don't know if you noticed, but the employees, the environment is a certain way.
It
The
is.
employees are pleasant. The employees, they look the part. They're clean. They're neat. They're always smiling or saying things like "my pleasure" or "how can I help you." It is their job to please the customer, and they're taught that in the training. So that was encouragement for me, letting me know that although I may have to go through 50, 100 employees to get the right ones, I know the right ones are out there because there's other companies who are much larger than myself who have created the standard and they stick to the standard. And when the employee doesn't perform, they get fired.
Well, you just said it. If you have an employee, you rather work. If you have issues, you rather work and do it yourself. You want to be in the trenches, but you need your employees. So finally, after so many years, you realize if you're not here, I can do your job until I find somebody else. And a lot of employees don't do that. What they do is they wait until they get somebody else, and they don't realize that hurts their business. I see that all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So Sierra, I have a question. So like now, with expansion and things that could be on the horizon, how do you, because I heard you say that, you may go through many employees, but do you have backup applications, or do you have people that, you'll go back to or call to keep on standby just in case you need an employee?
Yeah, absolutely. I have people that come in all the time and they ask if we're hiring. And I tell them that we may not be hiring today, but tomorrow could be different. So I invite them to go to the website, fill out the application, and then whenever I need to hire or set up interviews, I go to those applications that were submitted, within the last month or so, and I start with those people first before I start advertising that I'm hiring again.
So I want to give a shout out to you. I've been watching you the last 3 years, and I just remember just the growth, all the things you've been doing. I'm like the TT to watch in the back. I'm on the Facebook page just looking, and I talk to your mom on a regular basis, probably 4 or 5 days a week. Most last few weeks, 7 days a week. But I just been watching your growth, and I'm just so proud of you. And you're not a mother yet, even though we're hoping real soon. But just so proud. You're an author, you're an entrepreneur. You have some great things coming up in your future that we know that we can't share right now. But just proud of you, and I take my hat off to you, and I just want to tell you how much I love you, and just keep going. Because sometimes I say, well, how does she keep going? Because I'm over there cussing for you when I see some things, or I talk to your mom, or you always wear that smile regardless. You have that same look, even though I know in your mind you're like, I can't even say what I want to say because your mom is right there. But in other words, like, you don't say F you, but forget you or blah, blah, blah. But shout out to you today and tomorrow for always, standing in the gap for yourself and everybody else.
Thank you, TT. I appreciate that. It's definitely not easy, but a lot of times I have to go back to the bigger picture, and I have to bring myself down and remember my why. But I'm not going to say that I don't be upset and be yelling and want to pull my hair out, but it's a part of the process, and I'm learning more every day that I show up for myself.
Yeah, and okay, Sierra. So I have another question. So how important is coaching? Because this now that you see that work ethics are very different from what you're used to, how important is it for you to coach the employee and to get them in alignment with the vision for Delicious Sweets and Craven Cookies?
It is very important to coach. And what I'm learning is I need to coach right at the moment when I see something that doesn't align with the standard. Because waiting the employee will forget, I will forget, whatever the case may be. So when I say I've been doing research on how to work better with these new age employees, I've really been doing research, and I'm finding new ways to be able to work with them because I realize I may have to constantly interview more people, but I'm not going to be able to get around the age group. So coaching is necessary, retraining is necessary, holding them accountable. And I've also been having monthly trainings where I have people come in and talk about customer service. And I have workshops so that we can do some role playing, all these things, excuse me, to help us get better.
That's really good. So, Sierra, tell the listeners if they are interested in contacting you for Craven Cookies or Delicious Sweets, how can they get in contact
Or
with
your
you?
book.
Or your book. Where's the book? Do you have it with you?
I do not have it with me, but I do have some on hand. So you can reach me on Facebook. My personal Facebook is Sierra Crudup, Delicious Sweets Bake Shop, and Craven Cookies. So again, that's Sierra Crudup or Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies. And now if any listeners are from the Pontiac area, I will be down there later today. If you need a book, I might even be able to bring you some cookies. So let me know.
Yeah, listeners, you might get some cookies. Y'all better inbox her quickly. So thank you so much, Sierra. It's always a pleasure for you coming on, sharing with us. This has been some good information. So for all the listeners, she has given you some nuggets about training and, just working with a new age employee. So Sierra, thank you again, and we will see you next month.
All right. Have a good day. Thank you.
Hey.
Man, so the new age employee. So you had your own
Experience and didn't even know.
This week.
And I didn't even show out. I was, God, it was God because, I was very upset because, when you go in a restaurant, I want attention. That's probably why I go to the same place twice a week, sometimes 3, because of the attention, even with the same food, but I go to the same place because you get the attention and you get conversation. I mean, you ain't even got to talk to me that much. Just give me my little attention. Tell me what I want. I mean, ask me what I want. Be nice. And I got my favorite bartender there.
You do. You do, and I must say, when I walk in, I'm like, how she all set up. I can't even get no water over here. She got everything she need.
I'm telling my business.
Hey, shout out! Hey, shout out for favor.
We got to go ahead and get into our shout out.
So we got some upcoming events. So the first event is the Stump Out Violence Rally, the March and Rally. And this is, let's see, it presents the 15th annual Stump Out Violence March Rally, May 26th. There will be live entertainment, Donovan Dylan Elledge. So you see this on the screen. This is on May 26th. You can scan the QR code right there for more information. And this is taking place on May 26th.
Shout out to Delia Nicole. I think is she Delia Nicole? Is she Delia Sharp on Facebook?
I
She
think
Delia
it's
Nicole, right?
Delia Nicole. Okay.
Delia Nicole. Shout out to Delia because it's our 15th annual event. But the next one is Sunset Island presents Thursday Blues. Live show and dancing is 9 p.m. to 11:30 at 7 North Saginaw Street, Plant, Michigan, 48342. Again, live show and dancing at Sunset Island downtown. But listen, this is for the late crowd. This age group, 9:30 to 11. So if you get off work, go home, tuck the kids in, get back out, go have some fun, listen to live show and live music and dancing.
And that's every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
Man, 9 p.m. to 11:30. All right. The next one, Dream DC Center presents Kids Club Summer Edition. This is happening July 7th through August 7th, 2025. This is free. It's Monday through Thursday only, and the hours are from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. This is a camp, y'all. So these are the camp highlights. You do have math, reading tutorials. You have creative arts, performing arts, field trips. This is some good things for your children to do this summer. Again, this is July 7th through August the 7th, and it's held inside Woodside Bible Church in Pontiac. That's located at 830 Auburn Avenue in Pontiac, Michigan. You can also scan the QR code, and the registration is free. It is free for you to come. It's limited spots available, but you want to get in. And this is for grade students from first grade to fifth grade. And it's open to all Pontiac school students and Pontiac residents. So again, this is being held at Woodside Bible Church in Pontiac at 830 Auburn Avenue. And this Pontiac, Michigan. You can also scan this QR code.
The next one is DNA Productions and the Crawford presents House Music Thursdays. Another place to go on Thursdays. This actually starts June 12th. All vendors' room is free admission and birthday celebrations. It is sponsored by Sugar Me Desserts. It's every Thursday from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Happy hour. You guys know what happy hour is. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. is at 1 South Saginaw, downtown Pontiac. Drinks, small plates, guest DJs, and a patio. It's the vibe you've been waiting for. Happy hour food, drinks, and special.
And guess what? You can leave here and go right across the street to the next event that we just announced. So one ends at 11 and the other one starts at 11. So this is the early crew. Well, the other one starts at 9:30 to 11:30. I'm sorry. So you can go right there from right after happy hour. All right, so the Pontiac Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is presenting Behind the Curtain, exposing the dark reality of human trafficking. This is taking place on Saturday, May 17, 2025, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. via Zoom. And you can contact I don't see the scan there, but it's on Zoom. Join us as we uncover the hidden realities of human trafficking and learn practical ways to support victims and take action to combat urgent issues in our community. So this is being held by Pontiac Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta. So more information to come.
Our next one is one of my favorite organizations, nonprofit. It's Pontiac Meals on Wheels Foundation. Dancing Under the Stars at Sunset Island is Saturday, June 7th, 7 North Saginaw Street, Pontiac, Michigan, from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. Trophies awarded to the winners in his cocktail attire. Ticket price is $75. And remember, this is a fundraiser.
Okay, y'all. So the Power Company Kids Club presents kids K through 6 at 530 East Pike Street in Pontiac, Michigan. This is free. This is every Saturday from 11 to 12:30 p.m. and this is the treasure hunt. Which bus will find the treasure? So everyone can play. So they have PowerPoint. This says PowerPoint K through 2nd, and I Will Obey God. So Power Company is sponsoring this, and they have a verse here. The Power verse, the 3rd through the 6th, is help me understand so I can obey your teaching. I will obey them with all my heart. And that's Psalms 119 and 34. And this is Power Company. So this is happening every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. You can call for a ride, it says, and it says text or sign up to the address before midnight Friday, or to receive a ride at 248-253-1522, or register online at pckidzone.org, which is pckidzone.org.
All right, well, that's it. We had a great show.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So shout out again to Jennifer Dooley,
Auntie.
her Jennifer
Auntie.
Dooley, and Sierra Crudup. It's been a great show. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to everyone and all the TTs, grandmas, anybody standing in the gap as a mother to a child. Shout out to you.
And even past
Yes.
mothers. So we salute you today. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Have a good week.